He, she's, theys, and all those who slay, strap in because this is the podcast equivalent of a 30-man overbooked death to finish, baby, and we wouldn't have it any other way. Welcome to Kicking Out 2. I'm Michael, and joining me is the undisputed champion of wrestling rants and the only person who can make Paul Heyman stutter on the mic, my wonderful co-host, Tori. Hey, Tori, how are you?
I wasn't going to laugh till you had the Dusty accent, and then I was done.
Death to finish, baby.
Yes. Dusty finish is always amazing.
How are you doing today?
I'm here.
Yeah.
Still catching up on sleep.
Well, we'll get there eventually. I'm old, middle-aged, and crazy. Anyway, welcome everybody in the chat. We got Herb with us. Thank you for being here, Herb. We've got Stampede already in the chat. Thank you for being here. We got some more people that have popped in, haven't said anything. Don't just lurk, say hi. I do have a special request, though. So we are trying to push to partner over on Twitch. And the one thing we're missing is an average of 3 people watching at the same time. Twitch is kind of our smallest viewer at the moment. So if you have a Twitch, I would recommend just if you can help us out, move over to Twitch, watch the show on Twitch just for a little bit so we can get that partner goal. Anyway, let's go ahead and we will kick off with some news. I just see it playing. So now that I know it's done. Anyway, all right, let's kick off things with some love for Evolve. Apparently, Kali Armstrong is doing more than just holding it down as Evolve champion. She's also making some serious waves within WWE. According to Fightful, people backstage are already talking about her as a future WrestleMania main eventer. So that's not something.
I don't know who this is.
She is a stacked female wrestler. I'd recommend you looking her up. She is definitely good at what she does. She's got an aura about her. And that's not something, that people backstage throw around lightly, of saying like you're going to be in that main stage at some point.
Did she win LFG?
No, she has not.
Okay, then I was thinking of that girl. Okay, then I don't know.
No, however, that's Tasha Steelz, and not Tasha Steelz, excuse me.
Tasha May something.
Yeah, Tasha May Steele. She follows me, excuse me. I'm trying to get her to follow us, but she follows me. I don't know why. I didn't do anything. It's just one day I woke up and she follows me. Like, okay, well, that works. But she's been tearing it up over recently in the Evolve tapings and even doing the rounds at NXT live events. It was recently
I noticed that she had been at NXT.
Yeah. There was a recent tweet that had her with her entrance showing up, and you can see that, like I said, that aura of her. So she could very well be a breakout female star coming up here soon. The way Seth and Gargano were from the indie roots, she might be doing the kind of same thing. So hopefully we'll see her more. Let's switch gears and we'll talk about something more gladiatorial. Hey, Lady Alpha, welcome in. So American Gladiators is getting a reboot. I'm sure everybody's already heard about that. It's wrestling adjacent, apparently, though, because every time we turn around, there's another wrestler that's being thrown in there. Eric Bugenhagen, also known as Rick Boogs, Rick Boogs, is going to be in there, which rightfully so. I mean, you look at him and I think back to the old late 80s, early 90s. He looks like someone that would have been an American Gladiator.
Yeah.
You got Jesse Goddard from TNA that's going to be part of it, plus Kamille, Wardlow, J-Rod, all saying that they're going to be part of this. So,
who?
J-Rod. I forget his actual name. I think he was in, I want to say OVW. Hey, Big Mike's in the chat. Stampede, keep me honest. Tell me where J-Rod's from. It escapes me at the moment. And then hosting the whole thing, none other than The Miz himself. This could obviously be a win-win for wrestling fans. We get that a nostalgia shot for the people that liked the old American Gladiators. And on top of that, we get to see wrestlers that we are missing or haven't got to see in a while.
Wardlow definitely looks like an old school American Gladiator.
Oh, yeah?
So does Jesse.
Oh yeah, Jesse for sure does. Um, I think it's just a great pick overall. I think so far the one I'm more excited about is Kamille, just because she kind of fell off. Um, NWA,
I know
that's
he
where
was
I
on
was
Big
getting.
Brother.
Yeah.
I'm scrolling Twitter, and apparently they posted this like 3 hours ago. Curry Man is coming to Starcast. That shit was so good.
Hot and spicy. Um, Freya the Slaya even got a tryout, but didn't make the cut. I mean, who else do you think that we could see swinging into that type of role? Do you think? Can you
I
think of
don't
anybody who hasn't
know.
been around in a while? Maybe.
I'm kind of curious how this is going to go because of the different promotions. Like, you can't not talk about it.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Boogs was released.
I mean, you can if they play it right. Because remember, like back in the day, there were some people that we knew who they were, but they weren't that person on American Gladiators. You know,
Right.
they were werewolf on American Gladiators, and we didn't talk about where they came from or what they did outside of just what they're doing there.
Right.
So if they keep that kayfabe, for lack of a better term, then I think we're okay. But yeah, I mean, if they start talking about it, then that's going to be something they're going to have to bring up is the fact that we've got AEW talent, OVW talent, NWA talent, WWE talent, all as a part of this show.
Former WWE talent. I
Yeah.
mean, I guess
Um,
it's one of those. To me, it's pretending like we don't know who they are is just stupid.
it is, but American Gladiators is kind of stupid too.
That's fair.
You got two people up on two pedestals with two massive Q-tips trying to knock each other off. I mean,
That's fair.
or cannonballing themselves like they're Miley Cyrus. Like it, it's a silly show. Speaking of that, though, give me Danhausen as a contestant trying to climb that wall. That's what I want to see. Um, Speaking of someone we haven't seen in a while, Jamie Hayter. Fans were buzzing after her match with Mercedes at Double or Nothing, and not just because it was a banger, but like Jamie hasn't been around since a long time for a while because she was already out. Now we found out that she is okay. We've learned that
Yeah.
she actually hasn't been medically cleared though. The whole lights out angle
The tech was, yeah.
with Tekla was to get her creatively worked around out of the story. So hopefully we'll get her back soon because AEW's division could use it. I mean, Tekla's killing it, but eventually that is going to run its course a little bit, and then we're going to need to
Yeah.
put some beef back into it. Um, now on to some contract tea. Private Party status is heating up. A lot of things rolling around that they are actually in their contract year. It's actually over in AEW. No word yet on if there's going to be injury time added. And what's really juicy is apparently WWE has already said flat out that they are interested in Private Party. But who knows? Who knows if we'll end up seeing them? I mean, could you imagine them showing up on NXT or on Raw?
This is one of those teams. I don't think they'll do well.
Oh, okay.
I don't think they'll do well in the WWE because of their system, what they can and can't do, what they can and can't say, how they can and can't behave. Like, they're just not going to let Private Party be Private Party.
Okay.
I don't think it would be a good move for them. I get it. And if you get the shot, take it. But I don't. I don't know if they would fit. That's exactly it, Big Mike. I don't know if they would fit.
Okay. I'm not going to dispute that. I mean, my concern initially is Private Party and Street Profits' original gimmick kind of similar.
Yeah.
So like I'd be afraid they kind of get pigeon-toed into that. Um, so yeah, I mean it's a worry for sure if they would go in. I do agree, Stampede, that they would fit in NXT. But then they would need some sort of, I don't know, some sort of change to go to the main roster, I think.
And I think changing them, like, nothing will ever beat Zay standing on top of that shed at the Hardy compound, moaning in that match. Like that was your peak wrestling, bro.
Uh,
So I don't know. I agree that I think they would be a better fit in TNA. My concern if they fit in NXT is they're never going to get out of NXT.
well, that's what I'm saying. Like without some sort of change to the character.
And then if you change the character, do you change Private Party?
Yeah,
Like, and I don't think either one of them is good enough to do a solo run.
yeah,
They're a tag team.
yeah.
They're not
They
something
are a
you
tag team.
go,
Yeah.
we can run one of them out there, but not the other.
Which I don't know even if they have those aspirations of being singles because they both have said numerous times when they had that stuff with the Hardys going that like the Hardys is who they watched and who they wanted to emulate. So they may be the few types of people that are like, no, I just want to be a tag person. I don't want any of that. What's up, Isaiah? I didn't mean to, you're there. We were just in the midst of conversation. Um, yeah, they probably would get restructured and renamed. Big Mike, I hope you have Juana with you. Because now we're going to talk about a lizard walking into the ring. Mr. Iguana, yes, the viral sensation himself from Worlds Collide, has officially appeared on NXT and is reportedly finalizing a deal with WWE. Now, I know me and Big Mike have talked about this previously. I want to get your thoughts on, do you think it's a good idea for them to sign him to a main roster?
No. No. I wouldn't have taken him out of AAA. This is the perfect way to get eyes onto another product that you own, and you're going to take him away immediately.
Yeah. That's pretty much exactly where we are when we were talking about it too.
If you want to have him show up in NXT every now and then to get eyes onto AAA, cool. But
well, and I'm even
general,
okay with him having a program. Like if you want to have him come in and like have the King Ring be done. Randy doesn't win because he's not gonna.
Right.
You know, and you want to do a fun thing of the Viper against the Lizard or something, like something fun just for a one-off thing. Okay, all right, I'm good with that.
Right.
Or you've got the deal with TNA going. Have him go over there and do some stuff with Santino.
Here's the other thing. If you really want to get eyes on AAA, have him come into NXT and start something, then have that person follow him to AAA.
Yeah.
And do it with a big name so it pulls audience.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. Like he's the kind of dude I look at, and I think of a Santino. I think of like Mick Foley in the late years.
Yeah.
He could be that like breakout comedic type of breakout star in the WWE. The other problem I have with it is you're taking talent from AAA. Like he's a AAA gimmick. Why would you take that away from that promotion?
You're 100% right, Stampede.
Yep. If you overexpose that, it's gonna tire out. So it I don't see it being a good thing. I hope that it's not true, or if they are, they're hiring him because he's going to be kind of that ambassador to go back and forth between all the promotions. Because I think that would be a fun character to show up everywhere and do something every once in a while with everywhere. But I do think he should be based still in AAA. Bit of backstage heat from TNA at Under Siege. Excuse me. There was a bit of a slap fest between Tessa Blanchard and Ariana Grace. Apparently, executive backstage was not happy with that, and so they said, "Hey, if there's going to be like a slap thing like this, that needs to be talked about before you guys go out there, because apparently they just didn't like the way it looked. They didn't like the way it worked." So it's kind of another one of those, like they're throwing some rules in, which seems weird on some of them.
Look, if you're mad Tessa Blanchard got bitch slapped for being a racist, just say that. Just say that.
Just say that, bro. That's not entirely wrong.
I have not been the biggest Ariana Grace fan, but finding out she smacked the shit out of Tessa Blanchard, I'm now an Ariana Grace stan. Like yeah. I'm here. Yeah. I'm here for it.
I mean, it's kind of like when Kairi Sane slapped the shit out of God, what was her name? the military chick.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, see,
Tippy, what was her name?
it just flew out of my brain. But you know who I'm talking about. Like she slapped the shit out of her because she missed a
I
spot like
cannot
3
think of
times.
her damn name.
Um, I will think about it
No,
later.
the funny thing is, I just saw the clip of Kyrie hitting her with that back fist and knocking her ass out. Lacey Evans.
Lacey Evans, there you go. Good job. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. I think he could be a float between. I think that would be
that'd
fun.
work. I don't know.
Just don't take him away from that promotion. I think
No,
taking away from AAA is a bad idea. There we go. Everybody popping in with Lacey Evans because we're idiots. Uh, also, a huge match announcement from AEW. Obviously, we know now that we're getting Okada versus Omega. It's officially happening at All In. We got to see the wonderfully done Kenny Omega is busted up inside gimmick of
that
him
beatdown was
throwing
well
up
done.
blood.
That beatdown was well done.
It was well done. That's the type of thing, like adding that spitting up blood. If they overdid it, would be too much if we did that often. But the fact that we don't do it that often, it was a very nice touch.
The fact that they made it such a violent attack made it so much better.
Yep. The AEW International and Continental title will be merged into the AEW Unified Championship. There is statements on this that this is not going to be necessarily done as a secondary title, a la the Intercontinental title. It is going to be a secondary large title, like the World title.
The name is stupid.
Yeah.
The name is stupid. If there's not a reason you can't, yes, that video package was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't call it the Intercontinental title for some reason,
well, the WWE has it copywritten.
Is it trademarked?
It is trademarked.
Okay. International champion was fine. The Continental title was not necessary in any way, shape, or form. Like, I just, the Unified title, stupid. Global, I don't know the Global Championship, so somebody educate me here. I don't know anything about that one.
I don't either, but I assume that's probably their traveling championship. So like you could take that to New Japan, you could take that to other places that I have partnership with, and it would make sense. I do agree with the name. I think we could have killed one of the other names and just called it the other, like call it the Continental or call it the International, and just kill off the other one.
Calling it the International title sounds better because you're literally defending it internet, and then the first thing, whoever wins it needs to go defend it somewhere else.
Like it never gets done.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Or it rarely gets done here. When it's done here, it's a much bigger deal.
Yeah. The worldwide
title wouldn't have
had. There was questions as far as the Continental Classic. The statement right now is that the Continental Classic is not going anywhere, so it's going to be still there. That does make it interesting on what we're going to do with that then. Like how do we end that? Is it
Does the winner get a shot at this title?
Yeah. Like what are we going to do with that?
Is this like the Owen Hart for a crappy title? Is this what we're doing? Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Didn't know that.
I like my idea better though, of like it's the title you do around the globe.
Yeah, this is dumb. This is one of those things that I think AEW is making a mistake on.
Yep.
And I'm willing to bet within 6 months they change the name.
Possibly. Speaking of things we thought were coming back, let's talk about Danhausen. Danhausen made a surprise return at ROH Final Battle last year, and people backstage thought it was the beginning of something big, a big reintroduction. Character kind of changed up a little bit, made it a little more serious. But since then, nothing. No TV appearances. Nothing like that. No conversations really about his contract other than it's up next month. So unless they add injury time, he has reached out to AEW multiple times after Final Battle, but was told that they don't have any plans for him. So that's rough, especially considering how over he still is. Like anytime he pops out, the fans go nuts for it.
Yeah.
He is one of those though that I don't see him I don't see him signing with the E. Now, however, we just talked about outlandish gimmicks. Could you throw him in AAA?
Possibly.
I mean, he'd be a Rudo, or well, I mean, whatever the version of Rudo is, but like,
I don't see him getting renewed.
no.
I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up in TNA.
Yeah,
Because again, like you said, he is hella over everywhere he goes.
yeah. So why
So,
not someone
right.
bag him up? Speaking of AAA though, AAA, I don't even have this one written down. I just saw this tweet as I was going along. Conan in an interview had said that part of what WWE is trying to do for AAA is get them a TV deal. Yeah, that would be. But yeah, so that's something that apparently we're going to be looking forward to AAA is getting them a TV deal, which would be awesome. I'd love to be able to watch more of them. I do kind of wonder, hey, you know, are we going to ever get that TNA TV deal? Could they help them out with that maybe? Yeah. WWE would never, Eugene.
Well played, Ted.
Last but not least, TNA's got a big streaming move coming. TNA Plus is launching a free tier, and they're celebrating with a free live stream of Impact this Friday, June 20th.
Okay.
So sign up for the free tier of that. That's really cool to me because that's kind of one of those things of, you know, like I love the fact that they have their own streaming service, so at least we can see it somewhere. But I would also be intrigued to see, like, what are we going to get with this free tier? Like, what's that going to look like going forward? Are we always going to get the live?
I'm sure it's going to be like Netflix is for Raw, where you get commercials.
Yeah, which I'd be fine with.
Yeah.
They're also working on a 24/7 linear channel called TNA 24/7. They already kind of have that with Roku currently and Samsung currently. They have a TNA channel there.
They just continually show
like old
TNA stuff, but
yeah.
I believe it's all old stuff.
It is. It's all the old stuff. That's a possibility, Stampede. That's a possibility.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Before we go on to the 3 count today, I have a little bit of an opening. I got a package from Pro Wrestling Tees, and I started to open it when I got here, and I was like, wait a minute, I should just do this on air. So one thing I know I got is I bought a shirt. Know which shirt I bought, because the only way you can buy a shirt the size that I want is you have to buy an individual shirt. You can't buy like the blind bag for that. So here it is. Lovely Kid Bandit shirt.
Nice.
I had to get that. That was my favorite one that she had because it was very just black, which I love black shirts. And then I got this little package of pins. So I'm just going to rip this bag open. See them kind of one at a time here. If I can rip the bag open. They package this really well.
Yes, they usually make those bags impenetrable.
All right. So here's the first one. That's cool. So it's a Vader pin.
That's amazing.
So that's cool.
A Vader. That's genius too.
I got a Hangman.
Nice.
Pin. Detail on that is amazing.
Yeah.
And I didn't pick this out, so like, if you like pins at Pro Wrestling Tees, there's a section there where you can get blind bags. You can get, I want to say it's 2, 4, 6, or 10. Oh,
And they're not super expensive.
no, they're not. This was $10
Oh, very
for
nice.
4 of them. So there's a Young Bucks. I should have done music in the background. Maybe that's something we add when we change our style and our look next week's episode. Oh. Bald Men Unite, the last one. Best one.
Nice.
Ricochet pin.
Nice.
Got to get past that bald hate. All right. Those will be going in my bag later for work. I need to get a bigger bag.
Right.
All right. Now time for the 3 count. Yeah, I have no idea what that stinger sounds like. Hopefully you guys like it. I'm going to go ahead and start with me this time. I think you have the more interesting topic to end with. So we will go with mine real quick. First, that's right, Bald Men Unite. Thanks, Big Mike. The Empress returns. Asuka advances in the Queen of the Ring. Asuka looked amazing.
And that mask was fire.
Yep. First of all, she comes back with the original soundtrack, the original theme. So it was awesome to hear that come back. New mask. The Kana makeup, but it's even extended. It was almost like Venom-like going down.
It was very Finn Balor-esque.
Yeah. So it was very good to see that. New tights. Normally she has like the short shorts with the mesh underneath, and then this time she had like the Zack Ryder thing where it was like one long leg and one short. So that was very interesting to see. Big bald men slapping heads. That's right. I like that one. Yeah, especially with it being her first match back, she looked great as far as getting it done. But so Asuka made her in-ring return in a chaotic 4-way match versus Raquel Rodriguez, Ivy Nile, and Stephanie Vakir, or Vakai if you're Abella, or whatever she said. Dig just a little bit more in her. But it was a really great match. The only thing I do kind of feel bad about is Ivy Nile didn't really get a great showing. I try to
kind of an afterthought.
Yeah, I try to remind myself that she is really young, and so she'll get her spot eventually. I just wish they would do some more. There was the finish was messy. We talked about death to finishes before. This was definitely a death to type finish because Raquel almost had it. Then Rhea pulled her out, yanking Raquel out of the ring, riptiding her on the floor. Asuka took advantage of that, delivering a hip attack finish, which normally was. I'm wondering.
I'm not a fan of it for a number of reasons. I'm fine with her doing the hip attack. I don't have a problem with it. If you bring Jada Parker up, it's a problem.
Well, and I kind of wondered, are we doing it because Naomi's not doing the rear view anymore?
That's possible.
Absolutely, Stampede. Yeah, to hide that leg brace is probably the reason we went with the longer tight on that side, which is genius to do that. It's a way to mask
she looked
that.
Great. I mean, she wasn't slow.
No, didn't miss a step. So, and Ivy is still learning. Absolutely. I wish they would give her some more spots. I wish they would give her a little bit more shine in the matches that she's in. Because her presentation is amazing if they would just let her do a little bit more. So now, we've got a couple of different options of how the finals are going to work out. We got Asuka versus Bliss this Friday on SmackDown, if I remember correctly. And then we see who rolls out of that to go against Jade versus Roxy. So just not asking you to predict, because we might do something with that later, but just kind of where we stand right now. Who do you think is going to be in the final? Those two,
Roxy and Alexa.
Okay.
I think Alexa winning is. I think it was part of her comeback was we're going to put you in this position.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't think Jade wins because of Naomi. I definitely see Naomi
Costing her
getting
that.
involved.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're 100%. That's
That could happen
fair.
too.
You're not wrong about Ivy either. Like she is still learning. She's young.
Hey, I will say too, like if we could get a veteran like Asuka versus Roxy, I think that could be a fun match.
Yeah. I don't think it'll be Jade, but I do think it'll be Roxy, and I
Yeah.
think Roxanne wins.
Okay. Not a bad
I think they.
bad thought.
Well, I know if we do this whole thing, we'll talk about it. But
Yeah. My second count, John Moxley and AEW is getting sued over a production crew injury. A lot of discourse about what's going on with this, but a former AEW production crew member, Christopher
oh
Dispenza.
no, current production member.
Or is he still part of the production?
Yes,
Oh, okay. The thing I read was saying that he was a former.
he may be a former now.
Well, anyway, so he's suing both Moxley and AEW, alleging assault, negligence, and claiming he needed cervical fusion surgery after being shoved to the ground during a Moxley Omega steel cage match back in 23. Yeah. See, to me, I'm one of the like to me that's still young. I love that Biggie went off on that whole ageism thing because like internally someone saying that one of the women's 33 usually comes up negative of like, oh, she's 33, she's already long in the tooth. And well, no, like you got dudes in there till they're 50 and we're calling them able to win a world title. So but the incident happened when Moxley mid-match allegedly went off script while using a screwdriver as a weapon. According to Dispensa's legal team, there was no discussion about the physical involvement beforehand, just a brief conversation after the match. He's seeking damages for over $25,000, alleging AEW's management knew what happened and never followed up. Moxley argued, they argue, excuse me, that Moxley has a pattern of unpredictability that AEW just can't control.
You're not wrong, Stampede. This is an absolute nothing burger. It's going to. They're going to talk about it. Yes, the WWE diehards who have avoided lawsuit conversations are suddenly Mark Sterling's best friends.
Mm-hmm.
Um, 2 years. Scream's cash grab 2 years later. And first of all, he didn't push you that hard. So if you need cervical, like spinal surgery, you had other issues to begin with. And when their lawyers eat you alive and actually get like your medical records, you're screwed.
Yeah. So I will say, if this was something that happened last month, I'd be a little more behind him. And just as a person who has some issues, like if I was a camera guy there or I was one of the production crew there and I didn't know Moxley was going to shove me and he shoved me, I have, a patella that is in 8 different places with 6 screws holding it together. So if something happened because he pushed me over and we didn't discuss that and I wasn't expecting that, so I knew, when to fall or how to fall, I'd have a problem with it. I'm not bringing it up 2 years later, though. Like, I'm bringing this up now saying, hey, like, I wasn't part of this and now I'm hurt. Can you guys take care of that for me? And not talking about the damages. I'm talking like, hey, give me some paid time off. Let me go get some surgery. Like, you guys cop for that because I'm going to need surgery to get fixed. But 2 years later, that just seems, that seems a lot to hold off and wait on that.
Yep.
My third count, Hangman Page draws a line, and it's personal. We finally got to have a moment that we kind of have been expecting to happen eventually. Hangman and Page told the Young Bucks basically to kick rocks, and Swerve heard every word of it. So there was a segment, tense backstage segment. AEW Summer Blawbuster Page confronted the Bucks after they tried to explain that their attack on Ospreay was aimed at helping him by targeting Swerve. Hangman didn't buy it. He snapped, made it very clear: stay out of my business, stay out of Ospreay's business, and also ended it with stay out of Swerve's business. And so they go off and basically says, like, if you do this again, it's not going to end in words. We're going to have some problems. We then find that Prince Nana is lurking outside the medical room, and he heard the entire blow up, and he delivered the perfect line to Swerve. Hey, boss, did you hear all that? And Swerve, cold as ice, said every word. So I think we're leading up to maybe a partnership between those two, which is a perfect, full circle moment for those two, to have them deal with the Bucks. So it'd be really fun to see where that's going. It's good to see storytelling like this. Like we talk about all the time, AEW, that's their one Achilles heel is that storytelling. This story is going very well. So,
I want to know who is controlling this story. Like, who's saying, okay, here's what we want to do next with this story, because this story is amazing.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely, Stampede. It was icing on the cake. It was already great. We were already having a great idea of a segment, and then we loop in the entire story of Hangman, Swerve, and all that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't want him to lose it All In. I mean, I know he's going to, because Darby's gonna. I won't be surprised if Darby comes back at All In. I won't be surprised at all.
Mm-hmm. That'd be a good
Ospreay
matchup.
Swerve versus the Bucks. That's gonna be a crazy match.
Yep.
And it's gonna be crazy, just everywhere crazy.
Yep. All right. We will move on to your 3 count. Your first one, Liv Morgan's injury, changing what could possibly be the SummerSlam, equation.
SummerSlam, Evolution. There's a lot. So
Yeah.
I haven't heard the exact degree of damage to the injury. See if they've updated this.
The last I saw is they still just said the same, which was that she dislocated her shoulder. Which if that's it, then ice it up. You'll be fine soon.
But the flip side is, if she, depending on the severity of the injury, a general separated shoulder, you're right. Wrap that bitch up. Dislocated shoulder, not separated. It's very different.
Yeah, sorry, dislocated.
But if it's a full on worst case scenario dislocated shoulder, 16 weeks, 4 months.
Yeah.
That's all of summer up to October.
Yeah.
So Survivor Series is the most likely return, or the pay-per-view before that.
So all the immediate plans that we know were going to happen. There was going to be
titles.
Yeah.
Everything with Raquel and Roxy, the Bellas or Nikki.
Mm-hmm.
This whole Dom storyline, like, this blows up so much of their creative.
Yeah. I will say, with it being that type of injury, I do hope they don't take her off of TV. Like, obviously, she doesn't need to be taking bumps. She doesn't need to be doing anything strenuous, but, like, keep her and the Dom stuff going. Have her backstage icing it or whatever. Like, have her be part of those vignettes still. And still sowing those seeds of discourse between her and Raquel, between her and Roxy, between her and Finn. Keep that stuff going, so we don't end up in limbo with the whole Judgment Day storyline for the next 6 months, if that's the case.
Right. And like I said, that's kind of where how severe it is makes a difference. If she's going to be out 4 months, I wouldn't put her right back on TV.
No.
I would give her a week or two, at least. And then have her come out for a segment talking about it. And obviously, Roxanne's not going to attack her, but comes out and is like, well, since you're going to be gone, I'll take care of your Dom. And also in the same episode, have Raquel say, well, we're all on the Judgment Day, so let's just freebird rule this bitch here. And Roxanne's a tag champ.
Yeah.
There's so many things that Liv is involved in. It's huge if she's out that long. And I hope she's not. I really don't. I obviously would never want anybody to be hurt and be out for an extended period. But if she is, it's going to cause problems on them for them in the long run.
Yeah. A couple other things I want to throw in this particular talk too, though, is a few things have come up. One has been people saying, like, as a for instance, it's too bad she got injured, not Logan Paul. Let's not do that. Like, don't get me wrong, Logan Paul is a piece of shit in some cases, and like as much as I'm starting to understand him more, let's not wish injury on somebody else.
No.
That's horrible. And two, Rhea Ripley responded to people that were tweeting out, like, celebrating the injury. They were like clapping emojis and smile and laughing emojis. Like, let's not celebrate an injury either. Like, she is an amazing talent.
People saying it's Kairi's fault.
How?
It was basically a dragon screw. How is that her fault? Zoe's was a mistimed jump.
I would even call it more of a flapjack, because it was literally just her going, like, front forward on the mat, and it's just her elbow hit. Her elbow hit the mat before her hand did, and so hitting the elbow jammed the arm, popped it up, popped the shoulder out. Freak accident.
It is 100%.
Like, it's nobody's fault. That was the third thing about it, is like, I haven't seen a lot of people saying that it was Kairi's fault, but I'm sure there are those out there too that are like, it's an unsafe environment and WWE needs training centers, because I've seen that one at least a couple of times on other things of like, WWE needs to have their own performance center, not just NXT. Shut up. Things happen. It happens. It's not ballet.
If I was ever arguing with somebody and they said that, I'm just going to walk away, because you're apparently stupid.
Yeah. Absolute bad luck for Liv, though. Like, it was obvious that she had some great things lined up for her. As much as we may not want to see the Bella match, her going against the Bellas would have been great for her. That's an amazing thing to go against some legends and get that rub. So it sucks. Bad timing, absolutely.
If she needs a rub, I got it. Okay.
Well, I've seen the pictures of her and Dom. Dom apparently has that too. If anybody needs a title, his girl needs a title.
Because, his wife.
Good Lord. There's that picture of her redoing the Sabrina Carpenter thing of him pulling her hair and stuff. And good Lord, she has the soul of a saint. Yep, absolutely. Never wish for any of them to get hurt, ever.
No.
It doesn't matter.
No.
Count 2. Jey Uso survives chaos in a King of the Ring opening round main event. Fatal 4-way match between Sheamus, Rusev, Bronson Reed, and Jey Uso.
I'm sad that Jey lost his title. Was the run lackluster? Yeah. Was he ready for it? No. Was the booking terrible? Absolutely. Do I think putting the title back on Gunther's any better? Absolutely not.
No yeet.
But he had no business being in this match. He had no business winning. Okay. I can even go with Sheamus not winning. I'm good with that. But you had Rusev and Bronson Reed in this match and the winner gets Cody.
Mm-hmm.
How is Bronson Reed not the best choice?
Yeah. You and I had talked about this before we went on tonight, and Canada is a no yeet country. All right.
Canada is America's act.
You and I had talked about this before, and you said that he had no business winning that match. To me, he had no business being in that match.
No, he didn't.
Um,
You could have put any of a number of people in that spot as long as they weren't winning.
Carrying Cross stuff aside, because I know that's something that Big Mike's probably going to bring up in the chat, and I'll agree. Him being in it to me would have been perfect because you got Sammy on one side, you got him on the other. That final writes itself.
Yep.
But this is the same issue I had with Money in the Bank. Jey Uso just lost that title. And he even said himself, you got to worry about this person, you got to worry about that. You got to worry about this person, you got to worry about that person, but we're going to run this back. He literally can just walk into Aldis's office or Pierce's office and be like, "Hey, I want a rematch." Why is he in a tournament to get him a shot at the title? That makes no damn sense.
Not even a little bit.
Welcome in, Bret Hart.
There was not a single reason for him to have this match. No. He shouldn't have been in it. Should he get his return, his rematch? 100%. Is he going to win it? Absolutely fucking not. This is not. It just doesn't make any sense when we just pass out rematches like they're Skittles.
Yeah, well, and I know that we don't have the rematch clause anymore. I know that's a thing that has went to the wayside. They've actually said that on television of like, we're not doing the automatic rematch stuff anymore. But it's still one of those things, like we are handing out world title matches, as we'll talk about in your third thing, just because you go out there and go, I want a title match. That just apparently happens. So
all the time. It's a Rampage special.
Yeah, so there was no reason for him to be here. And him being in it, I knew he was winning it. Because, of course, you're going to have Jey and Cody. Of course, that's going to be your match. But I want to take a little poll in the chat. Who wants to see Jey versus Cody? Who thinks that's going to be a good match? Because I'm going to bet majority, probably not. Jey and him will not fit, I think, as a opponent situation.
They'll fit fine. Do I think it's going to be a terrible match because it's going to be stupid and pointless and do nothing for either one of their storylines? Yes. The match itself, they'll be fine.
Yeah.
No.
Unless it's them one-on-one with a bottle of Wheatley. In which case, then I want to see that all day long.
Or if they're going into a press conference. Well, that's the only thing I want to see Jey and Cody doing.
That's where they go after the bottle of Wheatley.
I don't think the match will be bad. I just don't care because Jay's not winning.
I don't think it'll be bad, but I don't think it'll be good.
No. And Jay's not winning.
Yeah. Well, and my only hope, and this is one of those of like, I'm going to fantasy book something in my head and it's going to make it like 10 times better, and then it's not going to happen, and then I'm going to be sad that it didn't happen, is if Cody wins. Night, Lady Alpha, thank you for dropping in. Cody wins. They shake hands. Cody turns around, and Jey wallops him. That's the only way to me this is worth it. Or the other way around. Either way. We heel turn one of them.
Yes. Honestly, the problem is now we've mildly face turned Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the other thing.
Hold on. Sorry. That was the other thing. It's so stupid, but I do this shit to make you laugh. That's the only reason I do it.
Your mouth is not prepared for that. What?
Because you said it, and I'm like, oh shit, the button. Anyway, so here's the other thing.
I want to see the New Day come out and cost Jay that match.
That wouldn't be bad either, because then it sets that
then
up.
I'm gonna care. Then I'll care.
Especially if Woods is in that pimp suit when he does it. Because
why did he dress up like a Dave Chappelle character?
Right. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know why we're supposed to think this is going to be like Jay's crowning achievement. No pun intended. But I mean, Cody's got to win it. I think we're all in the understanding that the Jay Uso World Championship test has failed. He's gotten over. That's the thing. Like, I don't want to make it sound like he's not over. He is one of the most over people in the business. Just him as world champion
100%.
does not work.
100%. He is absolutely over with the crowd.
Yeah.
It doesn't make him entertaining in terms of the overall character, for him, just in general, like, he's not bad in the ring.
No.
But am I interested? Not really.
I think King Yeet crowns. Oh, good lord. The sad part is, yeah, I could see that. I could see a crown with a big yeet on the front of it. On shop.com. Let's not put that into existence, please. Makes me, yeah. You know what?
Okay,
don't hinder
never
gender.
Go that far. Damn.
Hey, no. Don't hinder gender. Let's not do that. We don't do that here.
I do.
So this brings up a couple of things though that before we get to your third count, specifically with the King of the Ring tournament. How do you feel about the multi-man matches instead of single matches?
I like it. I want them to bring back the King of the Ring tournament in one night.
The actual like pay-per-view or special.
The pay-per-view. Now, if you're going to do that, you need to follow it with a Queen of the Ring special.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's the day before, the next week, 6 months later, but the women need their own show for that too.
Yeah. Good with that. Here's the thing. I'm even fine with it not being one night. I'm okay if we're going to do like lead up matches and we have to me, it would be the semis and the final in the same night. To me, that you still get the same idea of like, can they outlast the exhaustion of being in a match before? But we build them up to the semis, have the semis and the finals on the same night for both. Yeah. I'm even good with that. Yeah. There's two things that bugs me about the multi-man matches. One is we don't get those weird matchups of one-on-one. Because, like, I would like to have seen just Bronson versus Rusev or Bronson versus Sheamus just one-on-one. I'd have liked to have seen that match just without all this around it.
And I think that's where my issue with these multi-mans is there was two, like all three of those guys. You could have done a triple threat. I'd have probably been a little better with that.
Yeah.
But I don't like these four ways. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
And that's kind of another reason why, like, I'm okay if we do like the couple of Mondays and Fridays leading up. We have the
Yeah.
matches to get them into the semis, because then we could have, that's 4 matches, and they're good matches, like good long matches, and some. Uh, Yay! She signed her contract. Tori's not a fan of the name. Um, Here's my other issue. How did both of these multi-man matches end tonight? End that night
With crap.
with death to finishes? Because we had the first one before with Rhea pulling people out and everything, and then this one you had interference from Braun Breaker, from Sammy, from LA Knight, all affecting who won the match. So the best person didn't win.
The best person wasn't even in the match. It was anybody but Jay.
That's the merch right there. We're gonna make merch. I'm gonna make that design. Anybody
Anyone
but Jay.
Jay.
Anyone but Jay.
I do like Jay. I do.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's fun. He is talented. The fans love him. Cool. I don't need him in the world title picture.
Yeah.
I just don't. I understand why they did it because you capitalized on him and Roman. That's fine. But Jey Uso is not Roman Reigns, folks.
Yeah.
I don't know who thinks that he is, but he is not.
So same question as the previous one. We've got Randy, Sammy on one side. We got Jay and Cody on the other. What's our final?
Sammy and Randy.
Sammy and Randy on one side.
Cody and Jay. It's Cody and Randy. I want it to be Sammy, but it's Cody and Randy.
I don't. I want it to be Cody and Randy. I want that match. Give me that match. I want Sammy. I want Sammy to lose, and then we continue this him and Karrion Kross thing, and Karrion Kross has a goddamn match. Sorry for anybody wearing headphones.
I want Cody and Randy for something that actually fucking matters.
Yeah.
And King of the Ring is not it.
Yeah. I don't want them to just be a passing in the night match. And Cody beating Randy for the King of the Ring, as much as he doesn't need it. Like, that's another one of those. I don't know why Cody's in this. Cody doesn't need the King of the Ring.
No.
But another feather in his cap, I guess. Sure, whatever. But that's the thing, since we've made it, this gets you a world title match like that. If it was just King of the Ring, absolutely. Just give him King of the Ring, that way has the accolade. Because it's another one of those old school things. It's like him being in the War Games match. He's already said, like, I don't need to be in another one. I got to be in one. So I'm fine with that. I got to be in a War Games.
Randy?
No, Cody. Cody said he doesn't need to be in it ever again, because he's like, I was in it. I got to be in one. That's all I wanted, just to be in it.
And it was his dad's match.
Yeah. So kind of same thing. I could see him saying, like, I want the crown, because that's an old school thing. I want that accolade. But since we've made it, that person then gets a world title match. I don't want to see him just thrown into the world title shot again. But anyway, on to the main event. Gunther and Goldberg.
First of all, I apologize to anyone listening because I'm about to get profane and rude. Okay.
Well, before you do, let me set this up. So the rumors are reality. World Heavyweight Champion Gunther versus Goldberg was officially announced for Saturday night's main event. It's legacy versus legacy in what could be and should be and probably is Goldberg's last match. What, Tori, do you have to say about your main event?
You are telling me, with this roster full of fucking talent, that the best thing you could come up with for a goddamn Saturday night's main event in fucking Atlanta, Georgia, is Goldberg and Gunther for the fucking title. I don't know how he earned that shit. Because last I checked, he hasn't wrestled in 26 years. And the last time he had a match that was even halfway decent, he dropped the Undertaker on his fucking head. So, what? This is the dumbest shit ever. You have a roster of absolute banger talent. Do I think Gunther puts on banger matches? No, I don't like Gunther's matches. I don't think they're entertaining. That's just me. A lot of people love him, whatever. But I get it, but I still think it's stupid. Roll him out there for something else.
Notice he says, however, Stampede's cooking. So he'll come back up with something here in a minute.
Because you ain't wrong.
I have so many issues with this. First of all, this all started back in Bad Blood of last year. Gunther called out Goldberg while he was ringside with his family in Atlanta. I get it.
If this was done because Goldberg's son was going to wrestle, and this was how you were going to introduce him, I might actually be okay with that.
Well, and that's kind of where I was going with this, is like the after the fact stuff is what I'm getting tired of. I'm tired of stories that make sense after we get there.
The Seth Riders. Oh, that's so good. Oh, that's so good. I'd just be fine with him leaving forever. Why do we need to have this match? Just go away.
Here's the lead-up stuff that I have a problem with. First of all, we just talked about like how Cody could ask for a title match and get one. I'm okay with that. Jay could have asked for a rematch, and I'm okay with that. Goldberg just came out and was just like, you're next, and I'm going to win that title in Atlanta. What? And that, like, that, okay, that's what we're doing now. There's so many different ways we could have set this up. First of all, easily have them referring back to that day. And have that be a beef between the two of them. Have Goldberg surprise him with a spear. Gunther, pissed off, rolls out of the ring and challenges him. That makes sense to me. But him challenging Gunther and Gunther having this, what I guess was supposed to be a fearful look on his face. Because, like, he wasn't happy. He wasn't sad. He was just kind of constipated. It looked
like he almost laughed at him. And I would have. I'd have been, what are you going to do? Roll your walker down to the ring, you old fuck?
But are you telling me this is why we dropped the title? Is so we could do this?
Yes.
Like, that's ridiculous. This does not have to, like, first of all, that means it's probably going to be the main event, which I already have a problem with. Because it's not going to be a great main event. I'm okay. Like, he has to have his last title match, his last match. He wants his last match. He wants to go out on his own accord. I'm okay with this. I've said this numerous times. I think Gunther's the wrong call, but neither here nor there. They've built this thing with him and Gunther. Doesn't have to be for the title. Why do we have the title on line? That's dumb. Why does he get a title match? Just cause, I guess. Why? Just why are we here? Why are we doing this in this way? He has more than enough personal beef to have a match with Gunther. Gunther has enough personal beef to have a match with Goldberg. Yet we barely mentioned it. And it's for the title. I get the nostalgia. I understand that. A small part of me, a very small part of me who enjoyed Goldberg coming up, looks at this and goes, okay, he got the pop. People in the crowd did go crazy when his music hit.
I'm telling you right now, that shit was piped in. There's not a fucking chance Green Bay was that excited for that old motherfucker to come walking out the curtain.
They might have piped some in, but like if you look at the crowd though, the crowd was hyped for it.
6 people in the front row doesn't count as the crowd.
But the thing is, it's gonna be it can't be a Gunther match. So it's gonna have to be a Goldberg match. And how do you have a Goldberg match and Goldberg lose, which is my other concern, because I mean it's very WWE to say he's gonna walk out with that title and like he's gonna retire, but he's gonna retire with the title. Like, and why are we doing this retirement angle at the same time we're doing John Cena's retirement angle? Like, how many retirement angles do we need to have?
This man was blown up walking to the ring.
I'd be good with that, Big Mike. He says he wants him. He says, okay, you put your career on the line. This is it. You don't ever get in the ring again. At least then we understand then the stake of why the title's part of this. I heard on the Busted Open radio podcast, Bubba Ray said, if Goldberg would have went back to the back to Aldis and punked him into making it official.
Pierce.
It would have been Pierce. Punked Pierce into making it official. Like, he just stares at him because he is intimidating looking. Like, I'll give him that. He's a little less intimidating when the dude standing across from him is like 3 inches taller than him. But whatever. But yeah, if he stood back there with Pierce and like glared him against a wall,
just unplug his oxygen. It's over. It's fine.
And then Pierce went, you know what? Okay, you're right. It's official. All right. You and him for the title. That would have been okay with me too, because at least then there's a reason that he's getting this title match out of nowhere. But I don't know. To me, the main question is then what happens after? Does Seth cash in?
No.
After that's done?
No.
No?
And if that's the case, why didn't Seth just cash in on Jay? Right? Here's my problem.
Not wrong.
Here's one of the many problems I have with this.
Okay.
This is booked for Saturday night, July 12th.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me All In is that day. They're going to put on a banger, probably 4-hour show, and your main event is Goldberg and Gunther?
Because we feel like that is going to draw.
The fact that All In will probably be over before the show fucking starts? No, it's not.
No, it's not. Because let's be clear. You think that Goldberg is going to draw?
Yes, in Atlanta, you're going to get a pop.
You're going to get a pop. But is it going to draw the numbers? Is it going to draw a pay-per-view score? Michael J. Fox could draw a better picture than that's going to draw numbers.
Holy shit.
I'm sorry.
First of all, I'm so using that in the future. But that's right, if there was Stevie Wonder could see that coming. Damn. That's so good. That's 2 you've gotten tonight. Oh God.
It's just I agree with you. I don't understand how we said, okay, that's what we're gonna do. To me, you want to draw against, which then again, like we've talked about that. You need to stop this counter program shit.
Especially against the pay-per-view. You want to counter program Dynamite or Collision? Go for it.
Yeah.
All day. Exactly.
Well, and that's what I was going to
You
say.
want to counter program an AEW pay-per-view, you're going to lose every time.
Well,
It does not matter how bad their shows are. You cannot touch
the
their
pay-per-view.
pay-per-view.
Yeah, the pay-per-view is always fire.
You can't. Because
but
there's so few matches on pay-per-views in these 5 years they've been a company that were bad matches.
mm-hmm.
I don't think you could fill up one pay-per-view of bad matches in 5 years.
Yeah.
6 to 8, I'll say 8 matches. I don't think there's been 8 bad matches on a pay-per-view in all of their pay-per-views in 5 years.
In AEW pay-per-views.
Yes, in AEW.
Clear, in case we clip this.
Just in AEW pay-per-views in 5 years, I don't think you could find 8 bad matches. You could find matches that weren't great.
Yeah.
But they weren't bad matches.
I don't disagree with it. I think, like, if I was going to, first of all, I wouldn't counter program. So, like, if I had the book, I wouldn't be doing that. But if I was, this is where you bring Ilya back. When he goes out there and he's talking about anybody who could come back from the back, I could beat everybody. What's next for me? Have Ilya pop out.
Why did you make him sound like he was from Saudi Arabia? What was that?
That was I know it's the worst German accent.
He's Austrian.
I didn't want to go into like the typical.
It
like,
doesn't matter what match it goes up against.
No,
you could put Private Party in a match right now, cold turkey, and it's still going to be better.
Private Party and those two island boys that I always forget their name because they never have them win a match. There's those two big like Tonga boys, and I always forget what their name is because they never win. They look like they should win. They should always win.
Gates of Agony?
Yeah. Like they look like they should win shit. And then they go out there and it's like, and then they lost. The hell? These two big bastards should be winning shit.
And then I just went and forgot their names.
But
Toa Leona and Bishop Khan.
There you go. No, it doesn't matter who it's going to go up against, but like it's just like if you're thinking that Goldberg Gunther is good counter programming to that it's not. You're not pulling that audience away from them with that match.
If that's good counter programming, you are so far out of touch. And I never thought I would say that about Hunter.
Let's be clear. I'd rather see Goldberg.
I'm not going to go that far.
Give me Goldberg Gunther because Gunther would tear him up.
I'm not going to go that far.
You'd have that as an opener. They could be home early. Like it'd be fine. With the little sparklers and shit. But anyway. Yeah, no, that's true. Absolutely. Gunther is a very watered down version of the actual Ring General. I don't know. I would even been fine if you had Bartel pop out there. Because he's tired of Gunther's shit. I'll bring Vidavici back. Just saying. Anybody would have been better than this.
If Gunther loses because of somebody, I guess I'm still not watching it. Like, if I'm in Dallas, I'm going to StarCast. Fuck him.
I'm standing on business with this one. He is not winning that title. It's not happening. There's no way we are at that point where we're like, all right, we're going to give him a title to retire with. It'd be dumb. It'd be stupid. There's no way.
I am not confident enough in them to say there's no way.
We're going to go ahead and move on to the Twitter topic. The Twitter topic I want to bring up to you today is I saw a theory.
Austin?
That one too. that bit with Bailey walking by.
Yes.
And him and Waller are going at it.
You cannot tell me that was not the smoothest pimp motherfucker we have ever seen Xavier Woods look.
Yeah, absolutely.
I doubt I do that.
Here's the thing: I'll watch it because I'm a wrestling fan. That's it. I'll watch it because I watch wrestling, and that's what I do.
I've considered watching the show up to that point and just turning it off.
I would love to see Gunther and Ishii just
Oh God,
she beat the shit out of him.
they would beat the piss out of each other.
Uh, the Twitter topic I want to bring up is the theory of, um, what if one of the people that Cena is going to face is going to be Bo Dallas, and the reason being, since that cinematic match with Bray,
Right.
what has John Cena done? He became a joke of himself. He lost a lot. He sold his soul. What if Cena mentally never got out of the funhouse?
The only way I see this working is if you do it as a cinematic match. I feel like you have to tread real carefully here because, and you don't say it a lot about wrestlers that haven't been in the business as very long, which, to be fair, Bray hadn't, that character hadn't been there very long. There is still a legacy involved with that character.
Mm-hmm.
If you do this match and do it wrong, you mess with that.
You do.
I fair Stampede, fair, but still,
It's the same here. I got to talk about it at some point. So
yeah, I may just do it so I can talk shit. I don't know. I don't know how I would feel about it. Just just because of where that'd be coming from.
mm-hmm. Well, just everything that Bo seems to be doing seems to be trying to celebrate the honor of Bray. When they just recently came back, he looks up at the sky and says, "It's all for you." And then after the lights go out and the show's over, there's a cake involved because it was Bray's birthday. Like, everything seems to be in service of that memory. To me, them having a storyline cap off with John Cena before he leaves, I think could be a great idea. But I agree with you, like, that would have to be meticulously looked at and written to do properly.
Yeah. You would have to. I'd have a hard time getting on board with this. Just
I'm sure a lot of people
just
feel that way,
because
Big Mike.
I don't disagree, but I do see where tying that together, how it could be a good thing. Um, I don't know. I am very much torn about how or if I would do that
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know. I really don't know. You're not wrong.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing with Cena is, like, I don't know if the fans realize how short of a time we have left, because he's counting down those numbers quick, and we may end up with just Punk coming up at Saudi, and then his last match maybe Ron Gillen's with what little he has left, which I'd be fine with that too, because I still say give Ron Gillen's that belt. Let him have one good run with it. Even if it's a here, hold this for a month. Let him have it.
Do I think R-Truth deserves a world title? Yes. Do I think they'll ever actually do it? No. Do I think Cena could drop that title in Saudi? Maybe. Hang on a second.
Mm-hmm. While she's there, let me ask you all in the chat. At the last Raw, I think it was Raw, may have been SmackDown. I think it was SmackDown now that I'm thinking about it. We had R-Truth in the back, Ron Killing, excuse me, in the back, talking to himself. So apparently we're doing this almost like a schizophrenic Tyler Durden from Fight Club type of gimmick, where it's like Ron Killings is one of the people in here, and he's driving the bus now. What do we think of that?
I don't know. I don't. I don't know where they're going with this, and that's my only problem with it.
Yeah.
Like you said, like we're talking about Cena. If you're going to give Killings a title, him taking it from Cena makes the most sense.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's a takes it and Seth turns around and cashes in, I'm fine with that too.
I wouldn't be mad at Cardona.
Yes, this was the Ron Killings from TNA, but he's in his 50s now. It's different. So I don't know. I just
with me, I bring up the idea of the character just because I like when things make sense of a character change. If all of a sudden Truth just came out and started being serious Truth, that's weird to me. Because he has been this laughy, jokey, fun dude for a decade. And now all of a sudden he's serious and not jokey, and he's not dumb, and coming out at the wrong pay-per-view trying to do the wrong gimmick. It being like a schizophrenic thing, I'm kind of okay with that. Like if we say, okay, everybody he's been, when he was K-Quick, it was a personality. When it was R-Truth, it was a personality. Little Jimmy, R-Truth, that guy, that was a different personality. I'm kind of okay with that. What Cena did to him finally made him snap.
I would like to have seen some more lead up to this for me to care about this.
I don't disagree.
Now, I really don't. Well, and that's not a knock on on Killings. I love him, but this just flip of the switch doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, if Cena was not retiring, to be different. Had you done this a few years ago when Cena was there, it'd be different. Well, he's only got so much time. What are you going to do when he's gone?
You do, but we're talking about his appearances, right? So he only has a few appearances. You could have him take a couple of weeks off, and this is going to be a bad comparison. Absolutely horrible comparison. But do you remember the gimmick? So we had the Rough Riders, or whatever they called them, hype bros. And then
Zack Ryder and Mojo Rawley.
Yeah, and then Mojo lost it. And we had those promos of him, and he had the like weird broken glass face paint, looking at a broken mirror.
Yes.
The promos were horrible. But
yeah.
If we had Truth do that premise for a couple of weeks, and here's one of those, like, I agree with this because this is something I hear them talk about on the Going in Raw podcast all the time. Of back in TNA's heyday, they had what was the fly in the wall promos in the back, where it was like you didn't have a camera guy there with a camera. It was like a hidden camera up at the top, almost like the GTV stuff back in the day, but it was higher quality. Have that kind of thing where like a security-esque camera sees him in a locker room, like rocking and talking to himself, and you're starting to see those things come unlocked. Have him feed into social media with it too. Have his social media be a little more unhinged. Stuff like that leading up to it, then okay. Because I agree with you. It's back to what I was saying of like, I'm tired of this, like we're capping a story of what it is after we've started it. We should have been leading up to this. Because like, even bring him back. If you know he's coming back, have him be slightly crazy on social media. Have him do some, lives on X or lives on TikTok, and he's just kind of not right. Before he attacks Cena that night. Because then we kind of lead up to it. But I don't know. We'll see what happens with it. I personally, like I said, I would love to see them just give him the title. I agree with you, even if Seth cashes in right after that match. And it was just to get him a title run. Like a title on his resume that's not the, 47th time of being the 24/7 championship. Something like that. Tell us what you guys think in the chat. Obviously, like we like your guys' opinions as well. I don't know if you could see it, but Stampede said Cena is 48 and not being able to drop the title to someone younger than him would be wild. It would be. It would be crazy. Absolutely. But if it was anybody older than him, to me, Killings is it. If he's not dropping it to him, obviously I think it should be someone younger. I don't think he should drop it to Punk. He lost a belt to Punk. I would like to see him beat Punk in Saudi and have him sit on the guardrail of the crowd and blow a kiss with that title. Do a mirror image of what Punk did back in the day. But that's just me. I would rather see that. I don't want to see Punk win it. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and close this out. Before we do, though, just a little bit of admin. Kicking Out 2 is proud to be a part of the Chairshot Media Sports Group now. So be sure to check out the full lineup. The Run-In with Big Mike and Sped, Big Mike in the chat. Thank you for being here. The Lowdown with Princess Skywalker and John Anthony. Suds and Squared Circle Media, and Chairshot Sports, and more to come. So wait for those announcements. Also, shout out to Sports Coin, where watching and loving the game actually earns you something back. As we close out, I am going to change up the closing because it's a very special month. Let's remember that wrestling is for everyone. Pride Month is a reminder that our community, just like the ring, should be a place where people of all identities feel seen, feel safe, and feel celebrated. Inclusivity isn't about politics, it's about people. It's about making sure everyone, no matter who they are, who they love, has a spot on the card and a voice in the crowd. This month and every month, let's keep fighting for a world and a wrestling scene where everyone belongs. You can catch us on TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, BlueSky. Sign up for the Kicking Out 2 Discord right above my beautiful bald head. All brothers unite. Meet us on those spots so you can drop your thoughts, share your faves, and keep this conversation going. In the meantime, and in between times, thank you everybody that joined us in the chat today. Remember, next time you see us, if you have Twitch, pop over and watch us on Twitch. We're trying to get the partnership over there. We need a group of people to be watching us at the same time on that platform. So pop over there next time if you have Twitch. But we will catch you on the next one. Bye.
Here's the cover. Can he do it? Kick out at 2.